Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras here with ILTV's Morning Brief.
A quiet Tuesday afternoon in New Jersey has quickly turned upside down as the sounds of gunfire began ringing through the streets. This is Greenville in Jersey City, around the corner from the JK Kosher supermarket. It's the only kosher supermarket in the area, a staple of the local Jewish community with a yeshiva and a synagogue next door, and the scene of a deadly shootout between police and several unidentified gunmen. At least 6 people are dead, 3 bystanders, 1 police officer, and 2 suspected shooters, and another 2 officers have been wounded as well, alongside several civilians outside running for cover, and 3 more Hasidic Jews who were reportedly shot and injured inside the store while trying to escape. Residents report being trapped in the line of fire, and schools were all put on lockdown. Further, a 3rd suspect is reported as possibly on the run, but Jersey City Mayor Stephen Fulop says that the threat is now over, and that he's in contact with the Jewish community as it reels from this attack. Still, citing the location and the victims, many view the shooting as anti-Semitic. The ultra-Orthodox community is centered in the area with about 100 families nearby, and community members are calling on Mayor Fulop to clearly declare this as a targeted attack. Jersey City Police described the event as very extensive, however, and spanning at least 3 locations. They recount the attack as starting in a cemetery where police officer Detective Joseph Seals was gunned down. Seals was 40 years old and the father of 5. Then the attack reportedly moves to a mile away towards the Jewish supermarket, and there 5 more deaths are reported following a tense and hours-long standoff. Victims include the 2 suspected gunmen and 3 bystanders, 2 of whom the local Jewish Chabad identifies as supermarket owner Leaminda Feretz and Moshe Deutsch. Both are members of the Hasidic ultra-Orthodox community in Greenville. In the hours around the New Jersey supermarket shooting, the Jewish community is holding its breath again, waiting for some sort of action to be taken against the rise in anti-Semitic crime. And now, as a cliché place to encounter such hate, university campuses are particularly on edge. While United States President Donald Trump is now set to sign an executive order recognizing Jewish university students as a protected class. Specifically, he'll be extending Title VI protections of the Civil Rights Act to cover anti-Semitic rhetoric on college campuses. And effectively, this would officially recognize Jews as an ethnic minority in the United States, affording them federal protections from discrimination. Therefore, institutions that then fail to address anti-Semitism on campus risk losing federal funding as well as discrimination lawsuits. And the signing is scheduled to coincide with the annual White House Hanukkah parties later this month. Why do this through executive order, though? At least one bipartisan bill to do the same thing is already circulating through Congress. While supporters are praising Trump for bypassing Congress to get the job done, like Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz, who is calling on other nations to now adopt similar measures. And several pro-Israel and Jewish groups similarly say that this will help to combat the rise of anti-Jewish and anti-Israel hate. But critics like the Jewish Democratic Council of America call the move a simple PR stunt, accusing President Trump of being more interested in symbolic gestures that politicize Israel and the Jews. Either way, many hail this decision as another reason President Trump is supposedly the most Israel and Jewish-friendly president in U.S. history, especially after changing U.S. policy on the settlements, recognizing the Golan as Israeli, recognizing Jerusalem as the Israeli capital, and then moving the embassy in kind. And by the way, the United States Embassy in Jerusalem on Monday finally received permits to build. Construction is expected to break ground within a year. A blessing from Jerusalem. That's what the city's chief rabbi said that he was sending to the nations attending an interfaith event in Bahrain this week. Rabbi Shlomo Amar met Bahrain's King Hamid bin Isa Al Khalifa, as well as clergy from Qatar, Kuwait, Jordan, Lebanon, Egypt, the United States, and other countries as well. And Amar, who was also the former Sephardic chief rabbi of Israel, said the Middle East nations want peace with Israel and that the leadership in these nations should be promoting it without fear. The Bahraini king invited Amar to the event where, in recent years, relationships between the country and others in the Gulf have been strengthening in order to come against the common enemy, Iran. And back in June of this year, Bahrain's foreign minister told the Times of Israel News that Israel is a country in the region and it's there to stay. Just a month later, Israel's foreign minister Israel Katz was photographed with Bahrain's foreign minister, which Jerusalem touted as a boost in ties between the country and those in the Gulf. No Israeli officials attended the interfaith meeting, though, but the country's biggest businessmen and journalists were invited to the workshop. And Chief Rabbi Amar said that he hopes in the future a visit like this one will not require so much special preparation and tight security. The conference was meant to address human rights issues and put an end to religious persecution and systemic discrimination. And in late June, Bahrain hosted another conference where White House senior advisor Jared Kushner pushed his peace plan for Israelis and Palestinians with an economic workshop. Israel is situated in the perfect location for bird watchers, as thousands of species make their way from one continent to another twice each year. But while the bird's visit looks beautiful, it's incredibly costly to the local fish market. It's estimated that roughly 50,000 pelicans are now flying through the region from the Balkans to Africa, and every year, with few places to stop and eat, they raid Israeli fish farms. While the farmers have since taken up loudspeakers, lasers, and even firing blank gunshots, among other efforts, to drive the flocks away. But nothing seems to work, and it's no joke. General manager of the Israel Fish Breeders Association, Eli Sharir, says millions of shekels are lost to the birds every year. So what to do? Well, the answer seems to lie in the age-old saying, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. Rather than fight the birds for choice stock in the pools, the region's fish farmers from Tel Aviv to the Lebanese border have all joined forces with the Nature and Parks Authority to create alternative feeding sites. Hundreds of truckfuls of flopping yet unmarketable fish now get sent up to designated reservoirs in the north, where the pelicans have learned to come for a tasty snack. And the only problem now is that some critics say the birds might get used to the luxury stopover, maybe even deciding to stay the whole winter.
That's all for now, but for more news from Israel, remember to like ILTV on Facebook and on Instagram, and to subscribe to us on YouTube. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.